All right, I'm here with Vivian and Kyle, and we're going to talk about aggressive reactive dogs, and we're going to talk about stuff that trainers I don't see anywhere else. I don't see this discussion. I see a lot of counter conditioning. I see a lot of punishment, and we're going to talk about first of all the different types of dogs, and there's way too much to talk about the whole thing, but we're gonna get into some super cool stuff right now. Probably make this into series videos. Okay, so the first thing here, if you're gonna deal with, let's say, the aggression, you have to understand what type of dog you have. Okay, and an example I'm gonna give is if you don't like playing a sport, okay? Let's say you don't like football. Um, can I make you like football by counter conditioning you, by giving you reinforcement after the game, punish you into liking the game? Okay. Now I can offer you $10 million. And if you hate football, you're probably going to go and play that game for me, and you're going to hate the game. I never change the way you feel about the game. You still do not like the game, but the reinforcement at the end, the extrinsic reinforcer at the end, is good enough to get me to do it. And I would probably be excited at the end of the game. And everyone's like, see, the person or the dog likes to do that thing because look how excited they are to get the $10 million or that big bag of treats. When I hated the whole game, hated it, right? But in the end, I'm like, give me my 10 million, right? Punishment. You can punish somebody enough to make them play a game. If I'm gonna chop off your leg if you don't play this football game, you're gonna go play the football game and you're gonna hate the game. Okay, we can't explain it to dogs that way, of course, but punishment can be used to make dogs do things, of course. Okay, so in the end, we can't make a dog like or dislike anything. We can't make them like or dislike a game. We can't make them like or dislike another dog. Okay. They have genetics, and those genetics are going to determine, do they like dogs? Do they not like dogs? Do they like to play with dogs, or do they not? Where where we come in is we give the dog the opportunity to see these dogs as they actually are, and not maybe the picture a dog is painted in its brain that is incorrect. Okay, so we have a dog type 1 that is showing aggression to strange dogs, but genetically it should be okay with strange dogs. Okay, so this is a dog that we can just show them that strange dog, it's not what you think it is. Whatever problem you have, their lack of socialization, a bad experience, whatever it is that you had there, it's not what you think. We can show them that, and they'll be okay with that dog. If we do that enough, they're okay with strange dogs. We didn't need counter condition them, punish them, reward them after they saw the dog. It's not, we just need to show them what that dog actually is, and it's not what they thought. We give them opportunity to see that. Type 2 dog, and a lot of the pit bulls that I deal with, they're aggressive to strange dogs. They were selectively bred to fight and kill dogs. They have an issue with strange dogs, but they are okay with dogs they know. Most of them are. Okay. So all you need to do with that kind of a dog is bridge the gap between strange dog and dog they know. So you have this dog that will see a dog and it will want to kill that dog. But if I know how to show that dog that's not a strange dog, that's one of us, that's one of our friends, they accept it and play with it. Okay. You can have other types of dogs here. We're not going to go into those. There are some dogs that do not like dogs. They don't like strange dogs. They don't like friends. They don't have friends. They're relatively rare dogs. Okay. Then there's dogs that are okay with dogs they know, but then you get into the resource guard, and there's fights over toys. So we're going to talk about that different video. right now we're just going to talk about those first two types of that dog that genetically is actually okay with strange dogs, but it doesn't know it. And then the dog that is genetically not okay with strange dogs and how we deal with it. Okay. Um, um, Kyle has something to say here.
Yeah. So talking about the dogs that are not genetically predisposed to be aggressive to strange dogs, but maybe the dog's, you know, 5 years old, hasn't really been socialized a lot, and has kind of picked up some behaviors where they're avoiding around dogs, or they become aggressive, or they get overexcited. Um, with a lot of those dogs, a lot of the dogs that I see that come, pet dogs, are more in this category where once you kind of show them, look, like you don't need to go attack this dog. You can kind of gently guide them and say, look, like you kind of bridge that gap in the beginning to show them that they can be a friend. And once they make a friend or two, they can generalize that pretty quickly, a lot of these dogs. And then when they go out, they're not going crazy after dogs they don't know anymore. And even if it depends on how long it's been habituated, you know what I mean? Not to go into the weeds with all of that, but some dogs, some of the behaviors can be a little sticky, but truly when you get down to it and you understand that dog, you learn that it's actually very easy to have them around dogs, and they make a few friends. And most people, their dog doesn't have to be cool with everybody, but their group of dogs that they know, they're able to get them with, and family dogs and people they see at the park regularly, stuff like that. And it can become, very easy for that dog to make friends, and you realize that that dog doesn't truly have it. They're not super aggressive towards every single dog that they don't know. They just had a misunderstanding, of what that meant, and how to go about it.
Question. Are you using counter conditioning, food, punishment?
No. So um good question. It's less about, again, trying to flip these scientific levers, and it's more about understanding the dog and understanding multiple dogs and the things that we can do together. There's a I could go, far and deep into what specifically I do with a lot of these dogs, but it's really just about showing the dogs, look, like you can be around these dogs. We're going to do things together. We're going to do things that actually feel more natural to each of those dogs when you understand them. Um, and it's less like, we're in this room and we're on leashes and we're trying to get you guys together and sniff each other, or put a dog in a crate and let the other one sniff them, and all these kind of like techniques that everybody has formulated. It's a lot more of like a natural approach of, we're just going to go and do things together, and you're going to learn, like, oh yeah, like they're with us while they're doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a ton of stuff where it's counter conditioning with food around this dog, and I don't do it that way. Just like I said, you can't counter condition me to like football. I happen to like football, but if I didn't, right?
Yeah.
Punishment too, and I see that, like, we let the two dogs come pretty much together, and one dog was going to start the fight. They're going to go in and then punish the dog, and then they put them back, and then they're just suppressing aggression, and then they show the dogs later on together, and and they think that they solved issue when they could have done that by bridging the gap, like you just said, and it's quick, easy. The dog doesn't have to go through that. And I'm not against punishment, but it's unnecessary for the vast majority of these cases, because if the dog truly actually likes dogs it knows, then you just have to show it that. You don't have to punish the dog. Punishment sometimes, with certain dogs that are really tough and this and that. I'm not saying it's never used, but it's overused, and it's used first, and it will actually slow down the process. If you're skilled, and if you know how to manipulate space, time, and distance, you can do this punishment free, and it's faster. Vivian, you've gotten dogs together like this, no punishment, with this kind of stuff. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, it's about what you mentioned, space, time, distance, breaking it down, breaking the experience of being around dogs into manageable positive moments where they just get to experience, an initial look, an initial idea that there's a dog there. Little moments, little touches, as you've mentioned in the past, that start helping a dog understand how to actually just be around another dog, without the explosiveness, without it just turning into an absolute disaster. It has to be done very skillfully. Different dogs have different things that set them off. But it gives them that chance to be exposed to what it means to be around another dog without having to just rush things. They need that, because, like we've been discussing, some of them don't know what to do. And so if you just kind of let them loose and they have a muzzle and you hit them over the head, they don't know what's expected of them. They're going to do what they've always done. It's no surprise. You take a reactive aggressive dog, you throw them in with another dog, they're going to do what they've always been doing. They're going to think that's the right thing to do in that moment, and you're going to come in with a hammer over their head. It takes them backwards. It takes
Yeah.
them so far backwards.
Yeah.
It makes them question your handling. It makes them question how you're able to guide them through those situations, because they've just done what they think is the right thing they need to do, and you've now punished them, and they don't know why. So it's a really bad answer, and it creates the things that you were saying, the avoidance. It becomes harder for them to open up to actually interacting with that other dog. It just creates this black heavy cloud of, okay, well, how do I, like, what should I do? I shouldn't do anything then, because I'm afraid to get hammer over the head again.
Yeah, I think Kyle had something to say, then I'll say something.
Um, yeah, it's like typically when I'm getting dogs together, I do want a level of control and communication with the dog. Again, we're not taking two dogs that we have no control over and we're putting them together and letting them work it out for sure. And even if I get a dog and I'm working with that dog, a client dog, and even if I'm at the park and there's another dog that's coming up, I want to make sure before I put the dog in any situation like that, that I have a level of verbal control with the dog so I'm able to guide them. And again, it's not about punishing them. It's about letting them know, hey, maybe you need to come with me a little bit again to play with that space like you were talking about, Vivian. And I don't think that a lot of people understand the importance of having just that voice control, like how much you can do with that, just playing with all of that. And especially if you have two dogs that you're working with and you have control of both of them, it's just such a game changer. And then all the things that you do from there, in the process, it just everything goes so much smoother because now I have that relationship, I have that control, that communication, and I'm able to guide each dog into what they need to be doing or if they just need to go away from each other. But yeah, super
Yeah.
super important.
Yeah. Kyle just hit the nail on the head. That's what I was going to say. I'm going to talk a little more about that. Yeah, having obedience, right? Take a little step back, work with the dog before you go throw them together and whack them with a prong, whack them electric. Because if you can control them with voice, and by obedience, I mean authority, compliance, non-negotiation. They listen to you. They do what you say when you say it in front of competing reinforcers. Because this is going to be a tough situation, and you need obedience, not just I will sit for you for a piece of cheese in your kitchen, but I will actually, you can recall the dog off prey. You have control, so you can go and you can guide the dog and walk them through this. Because if you take a dog that that you just let them start the fight and then you whack it with electric, whack it with a prong, punishment event, whatever it is you do, and then you do that and you stop that dog from aggression, which it has to be a relatively easy dog. You're not going to do that with one of my pit bulls. But you stopped it, and then eventually it's around that dog, and eventually they become friends, and eventually they play. Man, like that dog would have played with that dog if you just backed off and did it right, guided that dog, like didn't have to go through that. Um, that just slows it down. And it's, you're getting results in spite of what you did, not because of it. Those dogs are figuring out that they're not strange dogs and that they're friends. Just because they're around each other, punishment's there, so there's no attack. And that's why you're gonna get the results, because that dog was always okay with dogs that knew, right? You just didn't bridge the gap. You punished the dog, and then that gap got bridged just because they were around each other, and you stopped the attack. And some people say, well, that's good that you stopped the attack, but there's a more elegant way that you can get control of a dog and walk it through that, and it doesn't attack. You know what I mean? Did did you stop this dog from attacking the next strange dog? Probably not. If it has heavy genetics to attack strange dogs, you didn't. You can suppress that reactivity so it doesn't see a dog and it doesn't go nuts and this and that. But if another strange dog comes up into its face, what do you think's gonna happen there? And I see this a lot. Like, they get a dog, they put them together, and that fight just starts. Punish that dog, and then you see the dogs playing together, I don't know, a few days after that, or whatever it is. And they paint this picture like it's fixed. I mean, that's not a strange dog anymore. Go let that dog loose in a dog park. Let's see if that aggression's really, really fixed, right? An easy dog, you punish some things away. Yeah, you know what I mean? But once you get a dog with a little bit of oomph in it, you know what I mean? Um, um, you don't punish that strange dog aggression away. You can control it so it doesn't go ballistic when it sees a dog. But a lot of these dogs, like my pit bulls, like Utah, Rosie, Jade, that strange dog's not coming all the way to its face, right? It still has those genetics. They don't react to dogs, but you're not letting them loose in a dog park. And my big beef is this thing that leading people to believe that you're fixing aggression because you got it together with a dog. And genetically, it was always okay with dogs it knows. You know what I mean? So you really want to back off. You want to get obedience with this dog. You can guide it through, and it's actually quicker. And then the more dogs you do it with, the quicker it gets. Like I've introduced Jade to hundreds of dogs now. And it's very, very quick, very quick. That doesn't mean she doesn't have that instinct to fight a strange dog. She 100% does. And that's controlled. But I walk in my house with a strange dog, and she does not attack the dog, because she's like, dogs with Matt are one of us, right? We walk her outside, somebody else walks a strange dog up there, she's like, that's a strange dog, right? I never changed this dog genetics, and I don't try to bullshit anybody and say that I did. I have serious control over this dog, right? I've never punished Jade introducing her to another dog, never. Hundreds of dogs, crazy, strange dog, aggressive pit bull, never punished her introducing her to another dog. And it goes along peacefully. Rosie, same exact thing. A Utah now, he's with all of my dogs here. He never got punished once when he was trying to attack the dogs. I manipulated space time, the distance. I got obedience. I could guide him through the situation. Vivian, anything to say there? Talking away.
No, that's okay. I have to leave. I'm so sorry, guys.
All right, cool.
I mean, that was solid just as it was. That was pretty solid.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, Kyle, anything to say there?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it all went well. But yeah, I think people have a misunderstanding too of like how serious dogs can be, and a lot of the dogs that you deal with. And it's like, I've had dogs that come that would fight dogs, some of them that would probably kill a dog if I let it go. But none of the cases have been anything close to a lot of the stuff that you're dealing with on like a daily
No. And
basis.
that's what I've noticed too. Like, I hear what you've had to go through with Utah, and even early days with Jade and stuff. And it's like, I haven't met a dog like that, and or even a fraction of that yet.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I've seen dogs that will do damage with a strange dog, and it takes a lot of work to kind of get them over that. And some that are still gonna aggress and try to damage a strange dog. The reactivity comes under control. That side of it's fine, but it's not like the pit bulls. They're not like the pit bulls you deal with.
Yeah,
It's
and I got to say something about that is this pit bull term. Pit bulls are not all the same.
not.
Most pit bulls are not that hard
Mhm.
control. They may have strange dog aggression. Even dogs that fought. I've been around a lot of dogs, people that fought dogs. I've seen their yards, and I've been around their dogs, and there a lot of them are not over the top
Right.
reactive to dogs and this and that, and then some of them are. There's they'll definitely fight a dog. You put it in front of a dog, they get close enough, they're gonna fight. But you could walk them down the street and you wouldn't even know. You know what I mean? And then there's the nuts, Boo Boo, like you guys didn't even know, you guys didn't know me then. I mean, he was the worst. And if you really think you're gonna punish this away, you're gonna put him in front of a dog and you're gonna let him start to go, punish him or Jade. Good luck.
Mm.
Man, these dogs will humble you quick if your approach is punish the aggression. They will humble you really, really fast. And there's pit bulls that you can punish like that. Yeah, you know what I mean? There's all different kinds, but you get these kind of dogs, and Jade will Jade will let you know how big of a mistake that is. You know what I mean? And you, of course, double lining them and beating them up and it's that they're gonna go. They're gonna go, and you're never going to change genetics. So why are you gonna do that? You need to align yourself with them, and you need to show them a better way out. And this, we're gonna talk about this the next time, setting up frustrating situations and showing them the way out so you can align yourself with the dog. You can show them that going after the dog is actually more frustration, and what I have for you is the relief for all of that. So this is actually a better way than going after that dog, and I've done this for years now. This is the real solution for that aggression. Like I didn't solve the aggression, but it's an elegant way to deal with and control these dogs and give them a way out so that, yeah, I have these dogs now, Utah, I can walk him down the street and everything, and he's not suppressed, beaten up or anything like that. He actually looks to me for the solutions, and that's really how you want to deal with these tough dogs. But if you're always just gonna put dogs together, throw treats at them. These dogs don't care about that. Or let them start to go, punish them. You're gonna always have to deal with easy dogs. And everybody says that they train the monsters and this and that. And man, I've seen some monsters. And if they really were, that punishment you do, you're like, it's not that quick fix like you're showing Instagram and shit like that. That's just not, that's not the case, because it's genetic, it's there, and it's, you need a long-term elegant solution for that. All right. Anything else you guys want to say there? We're gonna be back with that, with the
Yeah.
frustrating situations and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'll be a good one for sure.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Vivian, thank you. Kyle, thanks.
Yep.
I'll post this in the group.